Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Public Cloud Design Tips and Tricks. In this channel, we are going to discuss about public cloud design problem statement and their related solution. Today we are going to discuss about Azure SQL Database. So the problem statement for today's video is how to realize SQL database in public cloud. And the solution which has been provided by Microsoft Azure is Azure SQL. AWS has provided Amazon RDS. Google Cloud has provided Google Cloud SQL. Before that, let's try to understand what is relational database. A relational database is a collection of data items with predefined relationships between them. These items are organized as a set of tables with columns and rows. So each column is nothing but an entity, and each column is the attribute for that particular entity. And each table is linked to another table by some relationship. That's how the relational database concept is coming to picture. Now, let's try to understand what is Azure SQL. Azure SQL is the family of managed, secure, and intelligent products that use the SQL Server database engine in the Azure cloud. So, if you categorize the Azure SQL family, which has been provided by Microsoft Azure, then it has three categories: Azure SQL Database, Azure SQL Managed Instance, SQL Server on Azure VM. Let's try to understand when to use what. So if you are developing something from scratch, and Azure SQL Database is much recommended. That means it supports modern cloud application on an intelligent managed database service that includes serverless compute. Second, Azure SQL Managed Instance. So when you want to modernize your existing SQL Server or SQL Server application at scale with an intelligent fully managed instance as a service with almost 100% feature parity with the SQL Server database engine. In that case, it is much more best fit for the migration activities. SQL Server on Azure VMs, it is nothing but the lift and shift approach, where you have your SQL Server which is in on-premise, and you want to use the same SQL Server, or you want to dump the same SQL Server in your Azure environment. In that case, you can use SQL Server on Azure VMs. There are different benefits and merits and demerits for each type of database. Like first two are more on the PaaS offerings, and the last one is more on the IaaS offering. So you'll get the benefits of PaaS and IaaS according to the users. Azure SQL Database. So if you try to understand here, so it is a fully managed platform as a service PaaS database, which will help you. That means it will help you to upgrading, patching, backup, monitoring, everything will be done by Azure teams. So Azure SQL will take care of all these steps. And the beauty of Azure SQL Database is it also supports non-relational database. That means it supports relational and non-relational. And in non-relational, it also supports graphs, JSON, spatial, XMLs. So you can utilize SQL Database for both the purpose. Now, SQL Database deployment model. So in SQL Database, you will find two deployment models. One is single database deployment model, another is elastic pool. So with single database deployment model, it represents a fully managed, isolated database. You might use this option if you have modern cloud applications and microservices that need a single level data source. In that case only, a single database is similar to a content database in the SQL Server database engine. So you have a microservice approach and you want to rely on a single database source. In that case, you can use single database model. And if you want to use elastic pool, it is a collection of single database with a shared set of resources such as CPU or memory. And single database can be moved into and out of an elastic pool. It's a combination of single database, your deployment model. Now, the purchasing model of SQL database. So there are three purchasing model which Microsoft Azure supports here. One is vCore based purchasing model, DTU based purchasing model, and the serverless model. So in vCore based purchasing model, it lets you to choose the number of vCores, the amount of memory, and the amount and the speed of the storage. In DTU based purchasing model, it offers you to blend of compute, memory, and IO resources in three service tier to support light to heavy database workloads. So you can divide into three tiers, and also it will support from light to heavy database workloads. And the last one, the serverless model, as the name suggests, it automatically scales compute based on the workload demand and bills for the amount of compute used per second. So you will pay based on the usage that you are doing. You will not pay when the database is not being used. So that is the beauty of serverless model. Now Azure SQL Database feature. Let's focus here. There are 5 features that I have defined here, but there are multiple other features are there. So the most important 5 features that I feel is automatic backups, point-in-time restores, active geo-replication, auto-failover groups, zone-redundant database. What is automatic backups? That means SQL database automatically perform full, differential and transactional log backups of database to enable you to restore to any point in time. That means at any point in time you can do the full backup as well as differential as well as transaction log backup. Second is point in time restores. All SQL database deployment options supports recovery to any point in time with automatic backup retention period for any database. That is the power of point in time restores. You can back up to any point in time. Active geo replication. The single database and pool database options allow you to configure up to 4 readable secondary database in either the same or globally distributed Azure data centers. So that means you can get the active geo replication across different geolocations. Auto failover group, this is the one of the finest feature I would say, where the SQL database deployment options allow you to use failover groups to enable high availability and load balancing at global scale. You do not have to do the failover, rather than the SQL database will do the failover for you if you put it into the auto failover group. That means the primary secondary rerouting will be done automatically by the SQL server. And the last one, zone redundant database, where the database and the elastic pool have multiple redundant replication for high availability. Placing these replicas into multiple availability zone provides higher resilience. That means if you keep your multiple replicas, read replicas or write replicas to multiple availability zone, if your one zone is going down, then in that case the other zone will take care of the rest of the activities. That's how the zone redundant feature of the SQL database will help you out to in case of any disaster recovery activities. So these are all best features I felt like should be shared with you people. We have gathered all this information by following this link. I would highly recommend please go through the Microsoft document and gather as much as possible information about SQL database. It is really very vast, and if you go to the document, you will find lot many beautiful features that you can utilize based on your need. If you like the video, then don't forget to subscribe our channel and share it with your friends. Thank you.